Hey guys, Paul from Net Audio, and with another episode of Automotive Carpenter. And we're going to do things a little different. Even though this is a new series for us anyway, we're still going to talk not entirely about the project, not entirely about the equipment and stuff, but really more about the customer interaction and the way that we approach things and what we appreciate and expect with our customers, because this is a two-way road whenever we're dealing with these jobs. This project, we're talking about Mr. Nino, and he's really Mr. Nino Jr. I worked with his father years and years ago whenever Junior was Junior, and now Junior's not a junior. So he came in, we had done a previous vehicle for him before, and he got a new truck. He's a big boy now. He was all excited, he got his first house, he just recently got married, recently had a kid, so life is starting out. We're in April 2025, so he first approached me about this project in November, I believe, 2023. What he has is a 2019 F250 Platinum, and it's got the big wheels, it's got the lift, it's a good looking, clean, sharp truck. I'm just going to really kind of hit on the installation and the product real quick. We did a big fancy, I don't know if you want to call this a stage 4 box or what. It's like a stage 3 plus. He wanted a lot of bass. He listens to a lot of rap and a lot of R&B. He likes the deep, big bass. We did a 2.5-inch seat lift from LMI Welding. They're our go-to for any of the sort of seat lifts and seat relocation stuff. We did 2 Alpine Type R10s on Alpine's R2-1500, so it's the R2-150M, I believe. So it's 1500 watt amp. Birth sheet on these amps is always in excess of 1700 watts, so this is big power. And with these aluminum trucks, you have to run power and ground back up to the battery. So we ran, T-spec 0 gauge wire all along the frame, fused it up at the battery and all that stuff. We did our bolt-in amp rack for behind the seat, our normal fare. For the enclosure, this truck, it's a Platinum, so lots of fun materials to work with, and I wanted something that was going to really blend in there. We went through a bunch of different package options and everything, but he specifically wanted Platinum across the front, and he wanted the end caps to have a window of some sort that said Nino. So I took things a little more to the extreme, and we added, if you look at the doors, they have this vertical wood grain panel with some chrome stripes and different colors of vinyl and leather. And we found a dang near spot on match for this burgundy leather that's on the seats. So we have black carpet, burgundy vinyl, black vinyl, wood, like it's actual wood flooring that I went and found that's a really close match to the factory wood. We have chrome strips, we have the brushed aluminum Platinum logo that we made, then we took that Platinum font and I made that into the Nino font to go on the end of the boxes, all sorts of little touches. And then we used black grill or a black acrylic on the front of the box to mimic the grill on the front of the truck. I didn't want to do chrome to match the grill. I thought that was going to be a little bold. So we just did black acrylic, and I think it looked great, but it kept the box symmetrical and uniform. The subwoofers are actually set off to the side just a little bit, but I wanted it to be symmetrical, and that allowed us to blend that. All in all, it looked fantastic. It matched the truck beautifully. The Platinum logo with the light up letters, it matches the door sills and everything perfectly. And then I added just a little Easter egg bonus for them because they love their Michael Jordan. So I added the Jumpman on the front of it just as a nod to his dad. At the end of the day, he was grinning ear to ear. We already had to repair the back window. It made the window track come off. It hammers. For 210s, it digs deep. We were super happy with the performance of it. The truck had the factory Sony system in it, and so we used the Pack Amp Pro to get our audio signal straight, and so that allows it to play as low as we wanted it to and as low as what he was wanting it to. That combined with the subwoofer enclosure and a lot of power, it's spot on. It hammers, and we dropped the ball because whenever we first fired it up for him, man, we should have been there with the camera because he was grinning ear to ear. I was very happy with the whole experience. He was very happy with it. It took a long time because it was a fancy box, but he was extremely happy with it whenever he got done. What I really wanted to talk about though is he was extremely happy from the beginning. So like I said earlier, he came in November 2023, and we went over a bunch of options, and the packages and the options kept going bigger and bigger and bigger until, you know, finally he was like, no, this is what I want. I want this box. I want the platinum on the front. I want the Ninos on the side. I want these subs. I want this amp. You know, he was very intent and had a very clear, you know, idea of what he wanted from this setup. He had a, you know, somewhat fancy looking setup in his previous vehicle, and on this truck he definitely had a vision. So like I said, that was November 2023, and we didn't talk to him for a long time. He came back in the shop November 24. He's like, all right, I'm ready to go. You know, he had just been saving up. He started, you know, making payments, and we finalized the project, and he's coming in, I mean, I'm serious, like 20, 60, 100 bucks at a time. I knew why. Like I said, new family, new kid, new job, new house. Life is going on, but he had a set vision. He made a plan. We stuck to the plan. And at the end, yes, he spent a lot of money, but he got exactly what he wanted. He didn't settle. I'm saying all of this because I've been doing this professionally for 22 years now. I've been around the block. I've been, you know, in the consumer side, dealing with, you know, customers day in and day out for a very, very long time. I got into this hobby as a consumer. You know, I was the one buying product. When I was learning all of this stuff, you know, I didn't know what I needed. I was misreading specs on amplifiers and equipment. I didn't know what was going on. First amplifier I bought was wrong. I saved and I bought an amplifier that I thought was going to be exactly what I needed, and I was wrong. I was so pissed off. I was so frustrated. I just wasted my money buying a piece of equipment that wasn't going to do what I wanted to. What I've always preached and worked with my customers is saving up. And I know that's like a bad word, but when you plan and you're working towards a set end goal, it keeps you from spending money and working back and spending more money, and you keep this progress. So instead of spending $1,000, you're spending $3,000 in order to get to what you actually wanted at the end of the day. So customers will come in, they want to add a subwoofer system, and they see some big fancy thing, or their buddy has, you know, two 12s and 1,000 watts, but they only have the budget for, you know, two 10s and 500 watts. Well, what happens is they keep blowing up their 500 watt subs because they're trying to make this perform like the two 12s and 1,000 watts. I always try to encourage people, dude, just save up a little bit. It's a stereo. I know this is how I make my living. Nobody needs anything we sell. This is a fun hobby. This is a luxury hobby. It's not like you're just going to, you know, quit existing if you don't have subs in your car for an extra 2 months. But when you settle like that, that's when you end up, you know, having buyer's remorse. That's when you end up spending even more money. That's when you end up damaging products. And then you get a bad taste in your mouth because of that brand or that product, when really it's not the product's fault. You just were pushing stuff too hard. You know, there's a number of things. What we appreciated about working with Mr. Nino here was he had a vision and he stayed with it, and he just worked towards it and made payments, and he got exactly what he wanted out of it. I've run across his truck out in the wild a few times, and he's just like shaking my windows. I mean, that truck is impressively loud for what it is. At the end of the day, he tickled to death. We're a small shop. You know, just because we are a business does not mean that businesses are evil and we're after nothing but taking your money. That's not how this works. When our customers are happy, we're happy. When I get positive feedback from customers through emails and stuff, I'm sharing them in our group chats with my employees. I want everybody to be as happy with our customers and their interactions as what I am. That is the end goal. We want them to be excited about this industry and to keep working on these projects and, you know, growing and building. He's already planning on coming back. We're going to do door speakers and a 4-channel amp. I've already given him the estimate for that, and he's going to be working and saving towards that. I just know that's how it's going to be. All of this to say, listen to your professionals, listen to the shops. They've been there, they've seen that. You know, if they're a reputable shop who is not just trying to move a product, but they're actually listening to your needs, your end goal should be the same, and they should be working towards that goal with you. If you have questions, if you're wanting to work on a project like that and you're wanting some guidance, hit us up. Hit up your local shop. Go talk to them. There is something that you get from talking to somebody experienced as opposed to, scrolling through Amazon and adding stuff to the cart. Talking to someone who's worked on that vehicle who can tell you this worked, this didn't, or this didn't hold up. Getting that core product and getting that experience is invaluable. We're not trying to get you to spend more money. We're just wanting you to spend the money wisely. Is it fun when a customer comes in here with a big budget and says, man, do what you want, I trust you? Yeah, that's fantastic when someone trusts us to that point, but that is like 1 out of 100 customers that we deal with. Everybody has a budget, but everyone has a goal. So we just work very hard to stay within that budget, but if that budget is unrealistic, then we have to coach and we have to present towards what can we do to get towards that goal together. If y'all have any projects that you're wanting to work on, if you have something that you're wanting to do, absolutely hit us up and we'll be glad to help you out and give you some guidance and point you in that direction. Hopefully y'all like the videos and you like the look of the box and everything. We're really proud of it. It was a lot of work. Thanks, guys.